Hi guys, we're back. Sorry for that interruption earlier. I don't know what happened with Facebook, but I realized today I've been having these problems where we've been shutting off and shutting back on. Facebook doing its own thing today. So we end up shutting us off. Alright, so guys, as you come back in, share up the thing. Andrea, I see you. Pick up yourself, Andrea. But let me tell you something. You must always have a backup plan. All right, you must always have a backup plan. So that's our backup plan. Always a backup plan. Whatever happened, we're still gonna bring you the show. Good evening to you, Wendy C. Maguire. I see you. Hey, good evening to Darren Lang. How you doing? Pick up yourself, guys. Today we're gonna be talking with Mr. Tevin Andrews, and we want to get your views as well as the country is getting ready to open back up. There is a lot of things that we want to talk about. There's a lot of things that people have varying opinions on if the country should open up by June 1st, open its borders by June 1st. And what about Carriacou and Petit Martinique? What implication does that mean for the trial for Carriacou and Petit Martinique and movement between Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique? We're going to talk about all of this and a whole lot more. And what does that mean in the middle of a crisis, in the middle of a pandemic, where the U.S. is seeing in some states a spike in coronavirus case? Is it the right time? Want to get your views on it. All right, you have time to ventilate right here on the ride. How you doing, Slim Baby Gittins? I see you, Doris Maureen. I see you as well. Guys, go ahead and share the program because your friends in the first broadcast, they probably did not get notification. So go ahead and share it right now. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Let me start a watch party. I will survive. Yeah, watch party time. All right. Amina, big up yourself. Thank you so much. Who else we have? Hey, Slim Baby, I got you already. Who else we have? Doris Maureen Charles, thank you so much. Good evening to you. Charmaine, thank you so much. Guys, I want you to share the program and say I share. Share the program and say I share. When you say I share, put your comment up on the screen. Say I share. Share it and say I share. I share is a key word. I share. And don't forget the phone number, right? The phone number that you guys are going to call in if you want to input any one of your ideas on it. The number is 718-701-5720. 718-701-5720. Because I want your input on this. This is everybody need to have an opinion on this. Everybody needs to talk about this because the leaders are watching. The leaders are watching and paying attention. So I want everybody to put their opinion on record. Put your opinion on record. We want to hear what you got to say about this, right? Who else we have? I share. Renal, Dominique, big up yourself. Thank you for sharing. Lydia James, I'm not sharing because you ain't bigging me up. All right, so Lydia James, big up to you. How are you doing, Lydia James? How are you doing, Lydia James? I hope you are doing fine. I hope you're doing great, Lydia James and the family. So Lydia James, could you share now? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I share. Who else we have? Slim Baby again. Big up yourself, Slim Baby. Sandra Lewis. Thank you so much, Sandra Lewis. And everybody, guys, I will share all your comments on the screen a little bit later, right? But we have a guest. And we have to bring him in. Our guest is the caretaker for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. He's very vocal in terms of what's happening in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And recently, he wrote an article that we then shared over on the RIdealong page. I know you guys saw it because a lot of you guys are still commenting on it. So it kind of sparked the conversation today in regards to opening up, right? In regards to when is the right time for ports to be opened up in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And the man himself, Mr. Tevin Andrews, certainly have an opinion on this. Tevin, welcome to the ride. How are you doing today, sir?
Hi, good evening to you, Junior. Good evening to the Ride Along fans and listeners and everyone that are listening out there on Facebook. I also want to encourage you to share the live so
Share the
that
thing. Share the
more
thing.
and more people can hear what's happening.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
As we just say, share of
I
the
also
thing. Share of the
I
thing.
also want to big up Peter Mitchell. Is it Peter Mitchell? Peter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Peter,
yeah.
how you doing? Peter, you like to give a lot of trouble, you know.
Let
But
me.
we could talk separately, but I want to big you up.
I'm looking for a Peter Mitchell comment because Peter Mitchell is
Yes.
always. Peter Mitchell is a big part of the family. Peter Mitchell
Yeah,
is
man.
always here. You know.
Peter, I want to invite you to Karakou. I'm inviting you to Karakou and Pity Matnik when the COVID-19 storm is over.
Yeah, and he'll come.
Yeah,
And
man.
why not? Why not?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hi, Tevin. So we will go straight into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Recently wrote an article, well, a post that we shared over on our page. A lot of people commenting on it, and you getting a lot of heat. I ain't gonna lie, you're getting a lot of heat, right? People saying that why are you discriminating? Why are you discriminating about people from the mainland? And also, one of the comments that came up is I remember earlier in I think it was last month, you wrote another article, which was you was actually applauding St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister move to invite people from Carriacou and Petit Martinique to come over to St. Vincent for products. So here's a question, Tevin. Why would you promote and big up the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to come over to St. Vincent for product when they have coronavirus over there, but your take on the mainland coming into Carriacou is much different.
Well, thank you, Junior. Wonderful questions as always. First of all, Prime Minister Gonzalez never invited the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique to come over to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for anything. As I recall, Prime Minister Gonzalez saying that he is willing. He said if the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique are in need of assistance, that
Right.
he is willing to assist, and we are going to do it in a structured and organized manner.
Tevin,
And
don't go to
structured and organized manner.
I want to do this for me, Tevin. Your camera is kind of low, and I want you to kind of there's a lot of room over your face, over your head. So just kind of
Okay.
better,
Is that better? Good.
much better, much better. All right, go ahead.
So, in my opinion, structured and organized manner, meaning that both governments are going to talk about how they are going to, get the assistance to the islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. I applauded the effort because there are a lot of people who, I view it as a humanitarian effort. And I welcome any country or anyone that is willing to assist the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique in this trying time. So I was never entertaining, nor did Prime Minister Gonzalez entertaining breaking any rules, because I know that Prime Minister Gonzalez knows that our borders are closed. Hence, he said that we must do it in a structured and organized manner. So, and a structured and organized manner doesn't mean that somebody from Carriacou and Petit Martinique will jump a boat and head up to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to get the supplies. It means structured and organized manner where both governments are going to come together to discuss the way in which the goods can get to the islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So I stand by the statement I made. I support Prime Minister Gonzalez, and if he wants to assist, and I believe that the government should accept whatever assistance for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique in these trying times.
So, what made you think that the government of Grenada would not adhere to a structured and organized manner for letting people back into Carriacou?
Well, that is what we are calling for. We are hoping that the manner in which they are going to allow people to come back to Carriacou and Petit Martinique should be done in a structured and organized manner. They have not given any guidelines or a set protocol as to how people from mainland will be coming up to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That is why, because they have not given a set guideline or protocol, that is why I made the post, to ensure that if they forgot about it, that I would remind them that it's important to do so. But it's also important to note, Junior, that that people have been coming to Carriacou and PT Martinique since the COVID lockdown.
Right.
There was a protocol being followed. Interestingly, I know of many individuals who went to Grenada for whatever reason, whether it's medical purposes, business, or what have you, and they had to go through a system, Ministry of Health, the COVID team. They were tested before coming back to Carriacou and were asked to do to stay away from the public as much as they can for a period of 14 days. So I'm hoping that the same thing could happen now that this thing, the ban, if you want to put it, has been lifted, and the ferry service will be resuming its services. But I, along with the people of Carriacou and PT Martinique, are concerned, and we are worried as to the opening up of the borders for the resuming of the ferry services.
Let's look at the question on the screen there.
And I do hope that it's the same protocol that there once that once was happening is currently happens as a result of this.
Right. Okay. So in your post, for those who were not privy to read the post, I'll give you a snippet of it. The announcement of limited ferry service to Carriacou and PT Martinique by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has left a bit of unease feeling amongst the citizens here. What are some of the major concerns, and what would you like to see implemented as the borders between Carriacou and Grenada get reopened? What are the main concerns and some of the main things that you would like to see implemented as that happens?
Well, Junior, the main thing is we are trying our best to ensure that COVID-19 does not get to Carriacou and PT Martinique. As you are aware, and I think that the world is aware, that according to the officials, COVID-19, Carriacou and PT Martinique is COVID-19 free. And we want Carriacou and PT Martinique to remain COVID free. We want it to remain COVID free because of the uniqueness of the islands and of the many challenges health-wise that we face. And I saw some people commenting and saying, well, Tevin, you're discriminating against Grenada because if restrictions were lifted in terms of moving parish to parish, Carriacou and PT Martinique is part of the state of Grenada. And that is so. And that is absolutely right. However, one must take into consideration the uniqueness of the islands of Carriacou and PT Martinique, that we are separated by water, and the challenges that exist with regards to our health care. So someone from St. Mark's, let's say someone from St. Mark's gets the virus. And the virus is something that is very strange. How it affects one person, it might not affect another person that way.
Right.
So let's say it affects the person in St. Mark's in such a bad way that they need to be hooked up to a ventilator right away. That person could easily be transported to the general hospital and be set up on a ventilator. Mm-hmm. Unlike Carriacou, we don't have a ventilator. We do not have a ventilator, which means that we have to charter the Osprey for $10,000, mm-hmm. or charter the SVG for over 2,000 EC dollars, or lie on the floor of the Coast Guard to get to Grenada. And mind you, although we charter the Osprey, you also have to lie on the floor of the Osprey. So on the high waters and on the rough seawater, so we need to take those things into consideration. So it is better to prevent a community spread or an outbreak of the virus on the island. Mm-hmm. And to do that, certain protocols must be followed. It might be a bitter pill to swallow for some. The authorities some people may argue and say, well, it will cost the state. That may very well be so. But it is better for a short-term pain than a long-term gain, in the sense that it is better to spend a little extra now to prevent the virus than to not spend anything and allow the virus to come into the islands, and then you have a bigger headache as to how you're going to deal with it, and even spend even more money and resources containing it and the pressure on our health system and many other things. So it is better to prevent it from happening. What do I suggest? As I suggested in the past, it's important that there is a protocol that is established. Screening, testing, encouraging people to self-quarantine, those things. I don't have a monopoly on ideas in terms of how everything should be. Maybe the authorities have a better plan and better ideas than I do, but it's important for us to look at ways and means to prevent the virus getting to the islands of Karaku and PT Martinique.
A couple of things. Wendy C, who's a nurse, and she's also a survivor of COVID-19. She's asking, how come there's no ventilators on the island?
There are no ventilators on the island because there is no one on the island that can operate. But that is what is said. That is what has been said by the officials. There's no one that is employed by the administration, by the hospital services that can operate the ventilator. However, there are private doctors that can operate the ventilators on the island. But the thing is that they say that there's no one here to operate the ventilator. But it is better to have a ventilator in Karaku. It is better, easier, and safer to have a ventilator in Karaku than to and have a ventilator here and transport one of the persons who can operate it from Grenada to come up in Karaku than to transport somebody down to Grenada. And I'm talking about someone that is critically ill and can't move, and you will be putting their lives at risk by moving them, and especially on the high waters. It will be safer to travel to bring up the professional that can operate the ventilator in Karaku than to transport a sick person down to Grenada. It is better that way.
Explain the process, Tevin, because this is novel to a lot of people. This is new information to a lot of people, right? In regards to how normally, if somebody's sick, very sick in Karaku right now, not COVID related, they have to be transported to the General Hospital in Grenada.
Yeah.
That's the process, right?
That's a process.
You say that they have to either lay on the bottom of the ferry or charter a flight to get to Grenada.
Charter a flight with the SVG. That's taken in consideration if the SVG will be allowed to come in. Taking into consideration that the plane is based in St. Vincent, where there are COVID-19 cases and all of that. The borders are closed and what have you. So, but yes, if someone is sick, they have to charter the SVG Air over 2,000 EC dollars, or lie on the floor of the Coast Guard, which is the norm that is presently happening, or charter the Osprey for $10,000. Just the other day, a few days ago, a few weeks ago, a week or so ago, someone had to charter the Osprey to get down to the hospital. I thank God for Massa, of course. This is no advertising for Massa, but thank God for Massa, because I don't know where the individual would have found $10,000 to pay Osprey on the spot.
So what about the folks in PT Martinique? What is the process?
And it is worse for the people of PT Martinique, because in PT Martinique you have little or nothing. The good thing about PT, and I'm saying all of this to say, we don't have the medical equipment to deal with and in some cases we don't have the professionals, but we have some wonderful nurses and doctors at the Princess Royal Hospital and the different clinics, including in PT Martinique, where we have a wonderful nurse. But answering your question, in PT Martinique, the situation is worse. We have a sick person who might be dying, have to get on a speedboat to get to Karaku, and in an ambulance, get to the hospital in Karaku. And if they can't deal with it, you have to charter whether the plane, the Osprey, or the government sends up the Coast Guard. And if the Coast Guard has to be in a rescue mission or have to be chasing down some boat for marijuana or drugs, well, then crop will smoke with pipe.
Mm-hmm. Tevin, I want you to enlighten us on how during that lockdown period when folks the ferry service wasn't working as normal, back and forth from Grenada. How was the shopping days? How did that work? How did that function for folks in Carriacou? Was it organized and did people get what they need? Did they have sufficient food and everything that they need on the island?
There, to a certain extent, there was a little bit of, a little bit of mix up here and there. But in the end of the day, I think that the authorities must be commended in terms of, you know, um, allowing us to carry out, getting food and so forth. So there was a minor glitches here and there, but overall, the shopping days, continued, and the people got what they needed, which was important. And I saw a comment rather, under the post where someone said that, well, what if people in Carriacou needs to buy goods in Grenada? Are you saying that they have to, when they go down to Grenada and they come back up to Carriacou, they have to be self-quarantined? Well, there are people presently who are buying goods from Grenada and don't have to go to Grenada because of the times the strange times that we're living in. Accommodations are made whereby the goods will be bought and sent up on one of the cargo boats from Grenada. So that is what has been happening. So in terms of restocking our shelves and so forth, there were some minor glitches, and I spoke about it in length. The authorities heard the cry, and it was rectified. So the bigger supermarkets and how you call them, the agents and what have you, will send up the stuff that the supermarkets in Carriacou needs on the cargo boats, and we have the shelves are restocked and the people have what they need.
Right. But in general sense, everything flowed.
Everything has been flowing so far, so good. As I said, minor glitches here and there, but in the end of the day, we are living in strange times, so we have to, deal with what we are dealing with, and so, but everything is working good so far.
Guys, we're chatting here with Tevin Campbell. I always call you Tevin Campbell. I don't know why. Tevin Andrew.
Well, Tevin Campbell is my mother named me Tevin as a result of Tevin Campbell.
Oh, really?
So maybe that's why. Yes.
Okay, there you go. The caretaker for Carriacou and Petit Martinique and what is being deemed by a lot might be too early, a little bit too early for the opening up of the borders between Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. What is the time frame, or what particular parameters would you use, or the NDC, before they decide to open up ferries or before they start to open up ports?
Well, Junior, let me answer the question this way. We are yet to find out how patient 15, number 15, got the virus. Yes. Right. So the possibility do exist that there are people that might be out there that are asymptomatic, that have the virus, that might be spreading the virus unknowing to a number of people. Mm-hmm. So until we clamp down those little things, we shouldn't be in a hurry, in a rush to be reopening. We should also be learning and watching other countries around the world that was fast to reopen their borders or ease up the pressure, if you want to call it that way. And we have seen in some instances where it's France and what have you, I think France or Germany, I can't remember which country, where we have seen the kickback as a result of that, where a surge of new corona cases came back. And even in Wuhan, when they open up, although they were not homegrown viruses, but as a result of people coming back into Wuhan from abroad, they had more people coming down with the virus, as they call it, imported cases. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, thank God we didn't have a death. Thank God, knock wood. thank God, not many of the people had to use ventilators, had to be intubated and so forth. But we still should not be taking those things for granted, because I saw on a comment someone saying, well, Mr. Andrews, what are you getting on about? No one died in Grenada. No one had to use a ventilator. So open up the place, because no one will die and no one. But we can't take those things for granted. We never know. We can't wait for it to happen, then say if we didn't know. So it's better to prepare. It's better to learn from other countries. It's better to listen to what the officials at the World Health Organization and CDC and other places are saying, what they're saying, and take your time in opening up. Don't just open everything one go. I see they opened the beach. Today they said that they're opening the borders in June. They said it's too much of a rush. We should take our time as we go by.
But if, as the Prime Minister said in the briefing that he gave Saturday or Sunday, there is no reason to believe at the moment that there is community spread. The cluster that was at that job site, as far as what the Prime Minister said in his statement, that is pretty much isolated and dealt with, because everyone that was tested outside of that, they came back negative. Over 60 tests, I believe that was said. I stand corrected. So if there is no community spread, if there is no indication of community spread on the island at the moment, shouldn't it be safe to say, let us start back some economic activities?
I do believe that we should start back some economic activities. However, just to go back a little with your point, I beg to disagree with the Prime Minister that there is no widespread, or not widespread, we say community spread, because we don't know how patient 15 got the virus in the first place.
Right.
It means that something somewhere isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, something somewhere isn't right. And until we can pinpoint or have an idea as to where patient 15 got it from, then we should not be too fast in reopening. We can there are things that could be done. I'm not an economist and I don't profess to be one, but there's some things that could be done to assist in the stimulation of the economy without opening up everything at the same time, especially our borders and so forth. But it is important to take our time in doing it. Eventually, our borders has to be open. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But it is better that we wait. It is better that it is done strategically than we go about opening it up and we have an even bigger problem on our hands. Junior, we had only one case of coronavirus and we shut down everything. Now we have 6 active cases and we're ready to open up. Let us take our time. I understand the government is broke. We are broke. The country is broke, really, and the country need money. And that is, I understand the Prime Minister's rush in trying to open up things because the country need money to pay our debts and to pay our bills and so forth. But there are some little things that could be done here and there that could help stimulate the economy. And one of those things, I believe, is agriculture. I heard the Prime Minister talking about selling passport and about investment in tourism. I don't know who coming from the country to come to Grenada at this time as a tourist. That should not be the main focus at this point in time. I think the main focus at this time should be strengthening the agriculture economical pillar to help boost the economy. So that is one aspect of it.
Right.
I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. In the Prime Minister's note, the coronavirus regulation update from May 10th, they're saying flower shops, payday loans, real estate service, credit stores, landscaping service, laundromat, and those type of services, and including the ferry services. Now, if this was a scheduled reopening process and NDC or you were part of the administration currently, would that be some of the gradual opening that you would have seen, or how would you go forward with it, or how would the NDC go forward with it?
Well, I'm not here to speak on the NDC's behalf. I'm here to speak on my constituency behalf in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. not holistically as it relates to the party's position and so. But I know from an NDC point of view, we like to do things strategically, and we would have been very cautious in opening up too quickly.
Right.
We would have consulted with the relevant authorities, looked at how other countries are handling the situation, and make our own local assessment, and also think about the bigger picture as it relates to the safety of our people. Because yes, the country needs money. Yes, we need money to do X and Y here and there. But it is one thing to open up everything to get a few $1 million, and then boom, you have a new surge of the coronavirus, and you have to spend billions to to contain it. As a result, it will have effect on your health system and even further impact your tourism sector, because people wouldn't want to come here because of the virus being here and all of those things. So it is better to be safe than sorry.
Right. Today, the GIS. Oh, before we go into that, I saw someone. I had it up on the screen. I just lost it. But she said something to the effect. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah. You mentioned that, and I want you to clarify it a little bit. At what part of the statement did the Prime Minister actually say to sell passport?
He said the resumption of the citizenship by investment program. Maybe you see, a lot of Grenadians, a lot of us are quick to just listen to respond. We're quick to listen to what somebody have to say to make a respond. We must be quick to listen to understand. But the Prime Minister did say that is one of the things that he would be doing. Apart from that, investment in tourism, and that there is someone that is willing to invest, some investor that is willing to invest some $300 million in the hotelier, in the tourism sector.
Right. Okay. I heard that as well. So New York City, big New York City, 300, how much? 30 million, whatever, how much ever. New York City, big place. They're due to open up May 15th, which is Friday, right? New York City recorded 300 and something deaths, right? And although there is a downward trend, but it is not totally eradicated in New York City. Going by that model, seeing that it was a downward trend, so they had that spike and they flattened that curve, and we started to go down on that curve a little bit. New York City Governor Cuomo decided, yeah, let's go ahead and open up. If Grenada was following the same plan or projection as New York and those other places, would it be incorrect for them to open up knowing that they don't see any signs of community spread? There is no deaths. We have to start back the economy. That's basically the same thing that Cuomo is saying. Are they wrong? Are they wrong by following the model of those bigger states and those bigger countries?
In my view, I'll be crazy to follow New York model. New York took so long before recognizing the danger of this COVID-19 pandemic before taking actions. And the CDC is saying, and the officials are saying that it may appear that there is a downward trend as it relates to the COVID-19.
Yeah.
But there is a second wave.
Possibly
a second wave. Yeah. And we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens in New York, and maybe the officials down here could make the judgment.
Well, I have to applaud on the notion of New York City. I think New York City itself, and not the entire United States, I think New York City itself and the governor handled it best as he could, because I mean he's not moving ahead like Atlanta and those other states opening up blindly. I think he's taking some very close action, monitoring, looking at the science. They're actually looking at the science.
Well, that's good. Well, if that's the case, then that's excellent, and I commend him where credit is due.
And Zingo said, "Who tell you they follow in New York?" And I'm not saying that they are following New York. I'm just saying that by the CDC guidelines, they're saying that if there is X amount of days or months or weeks or whatever, I don't know the exact precise standard, that there is a downward trend, there is no community spread, and there is a downward trend after a certain period of time, then it's safe to open up. Some cities are using those guidelines, and I'm saying, Zingo, that if that is the case, and they're following the New York, and the CDC, basically not New York, is basically following the CDC guidelines. But those are the CDC guidelines. After a certain amount of days of downward trend, then it's safe to open up. And I'm seeing that Grenada, not having community spread, not having any deaths, nobody incubated. The last person left the ICU. That to spur economic activity, let's start things back up, opening up sporadically, different businesses having, still having the curfew on at that time, but open up sporadically. So I'm not saying that they are following specific New York guidelines, but I'm just saying the CDC guidelines, that's what most of them are following there. Let's talk about the ports today. The GIS sent out a press release, which we posted over on the site, as it relates to by June 1st, that the borders of the borders would be open up, the airports, and basically planes could fly again, people could come back to Grenada. Do you think that is too soon? And what do you think that they need to look at before they even make any kind of notation that those ports will be open up? What are some of your recommendations?
I in my personal view, I think it's a little bit too soon. The question should be, are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready to handle a surge or a possible community spread or outbreaks of the virus?
You there?
Yes, I'm here. Possible spread or outbreak of the virus here in Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and would our economy be able to deal with it, and would our health system be able to deal with it? Do we have the necessary checks and balances in place, the necessary testing and so on? Do we have those things in place? If the authorities could answer those questions, then fine. Maybe we can give it a try. But I would be very cautious as to opening up our borders at this time. I know that there are Grenadians out there that really want to come back home and should rightfully so come back home, but there must be some things that the authorities should follow. One of the things should be mandatory quarantine. If you're coming out from hotspots or any place outside of Grenada, it should be whether it's mandatory quarantine. And do we have the necessary facilities to accommodate the people that will be coming from New York, from the UK and other places? Do we have the facilities to quarantine them? And we see here, we from experience, we recognize that not everybody actually follow the instructions by the authorities as it relates to self-quarantine at home. We had a case where someone who was tested positive fled the country. So we have to ensure that we set things right before opening up. We can't be too fast.
Right. And Renee Decoto is asking there, do we have the structures in place for testing and social distancing on the airport?
Roydan, good night, sir. I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of the Airports Authority. I do hope so. And if that's the case, then maybe we should go. But I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of the Grenada Airport Authority.
Right, guys. 718. Let me get some views on the phone lines right now, guys. I want you to call in right now. Let me open up the phone line. 718-701-5720. Speaking here live with Tevin Andrews on the reopening of the ports in Grenada. The press release that came out today says that Grenada borders could be open in June if government is satisfied with protocols recommended by stakeholders. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance and National Security said. He said that he made the announcement on Sunday, May 10th at the national address. Grenada borders was closed in March as part of the effort to curb the spread of the COVID-19. So, I mean, as we said, everybody is anxious to get back. I myself, looking at the folks on the on the beach today, Tevin, and I'm like, yo, man, I want to get on the next flight, man. I want to get on the
Yeah,
next flight. It's anxious, but
indeed.
the protocols that should be in place, the airplane flying, even getting on the airplane, is it going to be clustered as how it normally would be, where you have 3 rows of seats and everybody clustered together? What are some of the protocols? What are some of the new things? How are you going
Yeah,
to in social distancing on an airplane? All of these things, and I believe the tourism minister, when she spoke to me last week, she said something about some of the airlines are saying that they would limit, they would take away the middle seat, so there would just be a window seat and an aisle seat. So all of these things are some of the things that the airlines are trying to do in order to I call come in order to at least change the way how normal is. So it's the new normal. We got to call on
right.
you live 718-701-572. Caller, you live.
Hello.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
I want to commend you on the topic for today, as well as your host, Mr. Andrews.
Yes.
I've been looking at a number of the comments, and I realize a lot of people looking at it in a political way.
Uh-huh.
There are times you have to sit back and say to yourself, isn't it this is what we need as a people? When you talk about the ventilators and talk of transportation for the people, if someone becomes sick from Martinique or from Caribou, those are real talk. Those are real issues that needs to be addressed. And I am not taking it from no political point or
Right.
no political standpoint here. I do not care whether someone is green or red or whatever it is. At the end of the day, the health of a people comes first. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation.
True.
And if you do not have the mechanism just in case they become ill, that's a crisis in itself. And I think that the government of Grenada has a responsibility. They are the servant of the people, and this talk show is something that they should listen to and act responsibly and get the proper equipment. If it means it's just 2 or 3 on island, just in case. We don't have to wait. Look what happened to America. When this virus broke out, they had to return back to China.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to the President Trump press briefing yesterday with the Asian lady from CNN, where he stormed out of the briefing and so on, that was very embarrassing.
Right. Yeah.
Because he is telling her, he asked a question, he's asking her, why don't you ask China the question?
Mm-hmm.
But we still have to go back to China to ask for whatever supplies that we cannot get here in the US. So we don't want to ask where is our ventilators. We want to hear it is there in place just in case we need it. And then we know as well as opening in some countries, the backlash is has way more implications for any nation as compared to just having it, and even that you're not even knowing how to deal with it. Because right now the US is sort of a grappling as to what to do, how to get rid of this virus, how do we really contain it to a minimal, and that is very important. So I want everyone on the live to please leave what the politics out of this evening's discussion. When your neck or your head is against the wall, think in that sense. Think outside of the box, and let's stop thinking the thing where you think Grenadians don't like kayaks or politics, yellow and green. This is not the time for it. This is a time for a different start. This is a time for a different mind frame in a more positive way. That is the reason why COVID came. COVID came, and a lot of us still would not learn from our mistakes. And government in the region has not been learning from the mistakes. And this is an opportunity to better on what is not there or what we have existing right now. And Mr. Andrews brought on some very important discussion. The discussion is very important. Stuff that he talked about agriculture and food sustenance and so on.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
You're
Tevin.
welcome. Bye.
Tevin, anything you want to say on the topic?
No, I think the caller said it all. Thank you, caller. And one thing, the thing, it seems as though every time someone speaks in Grenada who
Yeah.
has an opinion that does not necessarily support what government is doing is branded automatically as a political statement. And that's partisan political statement. And that's really unfortunate. And I want to encourage people that if you disagree with what's happening in the country, whether it's with the opposition, the main opposition, or with the government, feel free to state your opinion. There's not everything that I say or you say, people would agree with it, but it's okay to have a different opinion, and I don't have to brand you as my enemy. No.
Yeah. No, I see that a lot. You see that a lot. I think in this phase that we're in, people are angry and people are anxious. People are they don't, I see it. Sometimes I make a statement and it might be a very general statement and everybody brand you as being politicizing
Rather unfortunate.
COVID, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Guys, again, we open up the phone line 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. While we're waiting on the caller, a next question on the response, right? Me personally, I've seen the hard work that the Minister of Health and the minister that handles the response, not the minister, the Dr. George Mitchell. I give them kudos. I give them kudos for the hard work. What do you think about the response from the team that's handling the COVID response?
I think the team is doing a pretty good job. I was going to say a damn good job. Well, I said it.
Yeah.
But the team is doing a good job. Dr. Mitchell, I must pinpoint Dr. Mitchell. He has been excellent. Listening to the concerns, every concern that I had, and I brought it to Dr. Mitchell. He listened, and he took Carriacou and Petit-Martinique into consideration, and general issues he listened, and so they're on the ball. There are minor things that they might not get right. However, no country did. And no country was prepared for this. No, likewise Grenada. So I think that they are doing a good job, and they must be commended. I can't sit here and say and keep and bash them. No, I'll be a hypocrite. But all in all, I think that they must be commended.
Yeah, and we have to give Jackie Jacket, and they work real hard.
Definitely.
I see sometimes the stress on their face when they might do something and people may not agree with it, and there's a whole social media backlash, and tomorrow they do something that it's in some people's favor and everybody praising them. So it's like a seesaw effect,
I want to say, if you don't have a call on the line, I would like to big up Dr. George Mitchell as well, because Dr. George did something for my adopted mom. She's not a well person and needed some medication in Grenada. And of course, because of the lockdown, there was nobody that could have come out around that time, and she needed that medication. And he single-handedly got the prescription and went to get the medication, and ensured that it got in Carriacou in time so that my adopted mother could have got the medication. So I want to publicly thank him. And that is the humility and kind of people that we want in those posts. So he and the team must be commended.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, guys, 718-701-5720. Put your voice on record. Let me hear what you have to say. The GIS has reported today that that government plan to reopen up back its borders by June 1st. And knowing what we know about the coronavirus right now, it's not eradicated. It's still in the US. It is still here. When I go outside, I'm wearing mask, hat, hoodie over my head. I'm taking all necessary precaution. And as it's still here and it's not eradicated, it could just seesaw back into the places that, like Grenada and the Caribbean. Is it a wise decision at this moment to open back up the borders? And if they were to open back up the borders, what are some of the precautionary measures that should be taken before even considering open borders? That is what we're talking about right now. Now, if CARICOM and all the member states were to meet and come up with some kind of plan, which I'm sure they did, the Prime Minister made note of it, and if you were somewhat there to give some recommendation, Tevin, do you have any specific recommendation that you would have put forth?
Let us be strategic. Let us wait, because it will be better to do that than to make a rush decision to open up our borders and then pay a bitter price later on that will put our region's economy in further jeopardy, if you want to put it that way.
Right. Yeah. Wait. And that is the question everybody been asking. Wait, right? But the other question is wait what for how long? At what point? We got to call it.
Well,
Live,
that's why I say be strategic.
The strategic in call it live. Where you calling us from?
Florida.
Go ahead, Florida.
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach. Go ahead, caller. Yes.
Yes. My thing is that yes, every country in the Caribbean wants to open. I mean, it's important for the economy and stuff like that. But at what cost? Do we have the necessary stuff in place in the event that some cases slip through and stuff like that? And it also has to go in accordance with what's going on in other parts of the world, in the big world. I mean, like the place of the U.S. Whether it's in June, it's still rampant in the U.S. And I mean, JetBlue have about 4 flights coming in or whatever. Would you still open?
Yeah.
To me, it's not a good decision.
Because look at Darren Lang just said something that I pinned on the screen there. He said, and I saw it on CNN today, 147,000 projected deaths in the USA by August. Which right now we are about 80,000. Right? So by the next 4 months, they're projecting they're projecting like what? Another 60,000
a day or something like that.
Right. And that is a lot. And by June, that is like in the height of where it's peaking to open up at that point in time. I would like to hear the rollout, the science behind.
That's only the US.
Yeah, and that's only the US. Yeah, you're right.
So
you're right.
It's a very important. I personally don't think it's a wise decision. I don't think it should even be a thought at this point in time. You know what I mean? So government, I think they should really go back and and rethink that, and So let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Hope for the best.
Yeah, I call that. Thank you so much.
But I just want to before I go, I just want to compliment the Dr. Mitchell and Mr. Steele and the whole medical staff in Grenada. I mean, once again, they did a really good job as far as handling things up to this point. So you have to give them kudos. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kudos to the whole team, the whole response team in Grenada. Caller, thank you so much. Stay safe in Florida, please. Stay safe down there, okay?
Yes. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you. All right, Zingo is saying, why are we saying that it's a rush?
Why are we saying it's a rush? The people would always say, well, in the absence of misinformation, there is misinformation. And as a result of that, because people are not aware of the government's plan and what government have in place and don't have in place, people will say it is a rush. And I believe it's a rush because I don't think that government have everything in place as it relates to quarantine areas, as it relates to our testing ability, as it relates to our health care system, and whether we could handle a situation like this. I think we need to take our time. And the thing is, CARICOM will make a decision as to the reopening of our region. But remember, there are some CARICOM countries that are way better than others. For example, in terms of healthcare, Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados might be way better than what Grenada has. So those are things that we need to take in consideration. As a island, as a country, we need to take certain things into consideration. So while CARICOM could make a decision, we also need to think what's best for us as a country. And in my case, I am thinking what's best for us in Carriacou and PT Martinique.
Right. Some people are saying that all of this should wait until a vaccine is at least on the market and ready. A vaccine would take like about a year, and as the best case scenario, Dr. Fuchi was saying that it might be at least about a year, right? Pending that no vaccine is available until that time. Should you think that everything should wait until everyone is sure 100% a vaccine is there before they start to do this opening and congregation back again?
And this is just my opinion. And a lot of people will disagree with me, but that's okay. But it's just my opinion. I'm not a big fan on vaccine, and I believe that what we should be doing is being strategic, looking at how other countries are dealing with the situation, and gradually opening up as we go along. That's just my opinion. Whether vaccine or not, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Whether we could wait for a whole year plus, that's another story again. But I think we need to be strategic in our thinking and in the way forward.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What other countries are doing is exactly what we're talking about here. The US, look, what is it? Atlanta, they open up without even really understanding the science in the heat of the thing, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
New York is at least taking it a little more gradually and looking at the science, but other countries are opening up. You know, even in Wuhan City, they're opening up, but what they're doing, they have the QR code where it basically track you. It track you, your every move. So they are looking at it, but they are also looking at the economy and a complete economic fallout after the COVID-19. So I would agree. They are looking at the other countries, but is the other countries doing the right thing also?
Yeah.
So it might be unique to each individual country, each individual situation. CARICOM cannot make a decision for every single island because some might be worse off than some. So I understand where you're coming, but the other countries are opening up. The world is opening up, and by Friday, New York would be like back to normal, I'm sure.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope that New York will be back good. Let's hope. I do pray that happens. I also want to take this opportunity, Junior, to congratulate, to big up really our healthcare workers and commend them for the wonderful job that they are doing. And not just our healthcare workers, but our frontline workers, whether it's garbage collectors, street cleaners, doctors, nurses, orderlies, pharmacists, and all of these people for staying on the front line and working on behalf of our people, store clerks, shopkeepers, and so forth. They must be commended. I also want to take the opportunity on behalf of the National Democratic Congress to wish all nurses happy International Nursing Day. So big up all yourself. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep up the excellent job that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if we get one more call in, guys. If you want to put your voice on the record here, let me know what's your take on this. Is it too soon to be opening up back the ports in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique for international ports, the airport, in the middle, as they would say, of this pandemic? Call it. Let's see what you got to say. 718-701-5720. At the same time, I'm going to look at some of the comments that we have here. Lydia, exactly. I hope they take it into consideration and think hard before they act. Yes, we see you. Gail, how you doing? Okay. Any news on Canada if we're opening up anytime soon? I'm not sure, Gail.
I'm not sure.
Well, Gail is in Canada. She should be able to give us some information on that. Gail, come on. Tell us what Canada is doing. I know Brooklyn would not be back to normal anytime soon, and that's true. Caller, you live. We got another call on line. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Brooklyn. This is John Crow.
John Crow, how you doing, sir?
John.
I do good. Listen to me.
Ah.
That I understand the rush to open up the country.
Uh-huh.
I understand the need for the economic activities. But Grenada has been fortunate, and I have to compliment the medical team and the COVID team for the work that they did.
Yes.
At the same time, our system is not equipped for an onslaught.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, opening up the country, we pretty much know where, if you will, the cases are.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the authorities are prepared to grab anybody or the first body who shows up and shows positive, and to isolate them as quickly as possible from the rest of the population. Because right now, as far as we know, we do not have the community spread as they tell us that we should have, based on how the virus has been acting so far. Now, you open up you're opening up the country, one thing, you open up the borders now and you start allowing those who have been trapped in apartments, in hotel rooms, in dorms, at home, etc., and then they start flooding back in. Now, you have to be vigilant and a lot more vigilant and be prepared to not just treat those who are coming in, but now you have to, in addition to treatment, you also have to be able to follow up and retreat or retest, because one of the things that is coming out of this now is that they're telling people that they're okay and they go home, right? Then 2 weeks, 2 days, whatever time come out, and then they already start showing signs of the system. I mean, this sign that they do have the virus again. You know, that the virus is not necessarily leaving the system when they tell them they're okay after they've been quarantined for 14 days, etc. So do we have the capacity to retest the person who was tested in the first time? Okay, and that those are the kinds of nuances that I don't think the average person is thinking of. Yeah, we want to go on the beach and hang out. We want to go on to party. I mean, we want to go to whatever the crowding situation might be. But there are consequences that come with it. This virus is no joke. This virus is not one that is predictable. And whether it is man-made or escape from the laboratory or whatever, we have it, right? And now we have to deal with the fallout of that. So I would err on the side of caution and say, wait. Okay, wait until we know what we're dealing with, because right now we don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Anthony DeRiggs just posted, he said, the WHO said today that the worst is yet to come. So that means we're in for the long haul. This is not, you know, this is not the beginning of this. We're somewhere in the middle of it. All right. Or probably at the first quarter of it.
I was not wrong, but they tell me that when they have had pandemics before, there's a second wave and there's a third wave, and that each wave that comes is worse than the one before.
Yeah.
Our country, as we know it, is going to be shot to die kingdom country, right? Even if we were to open up now and we don't have not one case, but we cannot go back to normal. We cannot go back to what we are accustomed to. We cannot go back to, party all night and be out and about and just willy-nilly. I went to a restaurant yesterday in Brooklyn, and I said to the one of those spots, and she's serving food. And as I'm leaving, I said to her, after she finished, they make no stink, they make no noise with her. I just whispered to her, please put on your mask. Because there are inspectors moving around, checking businesses like yours. To see what I'm doing now. Okay, this is more than just the virus. This is another way of criminalizing our community. I'm talking on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Okay, and people are getting into trouble over just wearing the mask or not wearing the mask. If you're serving food, you have a restaurant as an operator of a restaurant. it's required, mandatory you wear a mask or a shield or something to cover your face, because like they're telling us, it's droplets that we're dealing with. And they're saying, well, it will live on this surface, it won't live on that surface. We don't know. And there are a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And until we could put a check mark on those questions, we have to follow those basic protocols that they're giving us. Follow the lead of those health professionals and be smart about it.
Yeah.
We can't be so willing with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to compliment you. Because I don't say that you bring a good job and bring in the work and bring in the information to the people as it were. And I hope NDC, if and when they get into office, that they would do the right thing and make sure that those frontline workers that the representative here is talking about, that those frontline workers get some kind of knowledge, not just a parade, not just like a clap on 7 o'clock, that they get some money in the paycheck. Those who need to go to school, that they go to school for free. Those who need a house, that they get a house. Whatever help that they have, what they need, that this government is not going to do it. But that if and when NDC gets into office, I say if and when, that NDC is going to step up and take care of those professionals who are on the front line right now fighting this fight. Because that's what you do for your soldiers who go out and battle on your behalf.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right, John Crew, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother John Crew. And of course, I must commend you for the work that you're doing in New York. I know that you're also organizing to get some medical equipment down to Grenada. So keep up the good work that you are doing as well, as it relates to the NDC and treating our frontline workers well when we get into office. That's a commitment that we have made, and we are going to stick by it to ensure that not just our frontline workers, but workers of Grenada are treated with the dignity that they deserve. I mean, our track record speaks clearly. I mean, security guards, when they were getting $4 or $3 an hour, and now they are getting $8. We are the ones that made them get $8 an hour when we got there. So we have always been championing the cause for workers in Grenada in general, and we are going to ensure that healthcare workers, get what they deserve.
Yeah, I saw another question there that came up, and Zingo was saying, well, they say that the virus will be around for about 2 years, and if it's going to be around for about 2 years, or should we just keep the country locked down for the 2 years?
Say that again? I didn't get that.
Zingo was saying, let me see if I could find it. He said that they're saying that the virus would be around for about 2 years or so. If that is the case, right? If the virus is around for 2 years, are we going to lock down the country for 2 years? They are predicting that the virus will be around for a while. All we have to do is to just develop our immune system.
No, Mr. Alexander, valid point that you're making, and I commend you for making your point. However, as I've always been stating from the get-go, it's one, we should not rush, and two, we must be strategic in how we go about dealing with this COVID-19 virus. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if the virus lasts for 5 years, that we're going to stay shut down for 5 years. But in the time that we are not rushing to opening up, we should be strategizing as to what are the best decisions to make, preparing our facilities, ensuring that we have the proper testing abilities, so that we can get the proper testing done, ensuring that our health system can deal with the necessary surge and backlash that will come, ensuring that our airport and our frontline workers and all of these people are prepared. So it is important to be strategic about it, not just opening for opening's sake. And everybody wants the place to open. The government will be happy if the place is open, so that they can get much needed revenue. But we need to think about the safety of our people first. That should be our first priority.
Yeah. Guys, again, Tevin, I gotta thank you so much.
But Junior, and Andrea St. Bernard is making a good point. She's saying, why can't they get what they deserve all now or right now? Why wait for the NDC to get in there? That's a good point too. They should start getting it, but we know they won't get it, so they'll wait for the NDC. I also saw Tamayo. Tamayo, good evening, my brother from Karaku. Tamayo was saying that if the virus was in Karaku, they would have locked down Karaku, and that's a valid point. Had that virus been in Karaku and Pitimatic and no virus in Grenada, I bet your bottom dollar that Karaku and Pitimatic would have been so tightly shut, no restriction. And even though say the case moved from 20 something to 6 active cases, no travel to mainland Grenada, I bet you that $1 million. They always treat Karaku differently. But it's important that we safeguard our people on the island.
I want to play back this really quickly for those of you who missed it. The Prime Minister's announcement when he made that announcement on Sunday. If we could pull that video up. I know we're going a little bit over time, Tevin. I hope we ain't going above your scheduled time. This is the Prime Minister's announcement on Sunday. Part of it, at least.
Effective Monday, May the 11th, 2020. Every day will be designated business day. That is, for the businesses already granted permission to operate and those to resume work soon. Approved businesses will operate their respective pre-COVID schedules within the allotted time, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The daily curfew remains in place from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Government anticipates an uptick in economic activity with the resumption of work in the construction industry this week. Health and safety guidelines have been created, and the contractor for each project must seek and be granted permission from the construction subcommittee before actual work resumes. Other areas slated for reopening this week include real estate services, laundromats, landscapers and gardeners, flower shops, consumer credit stores, and companies offering payday loans. With many workers dependent on public transportation, government is working with stakeholders to develop appropriate social distancing and hygienic measures that will guide the resumption of this service. An official announcement will be made in the coming days. Limited ferry services have also been approved for reopening this week between mainland Grenada and Karaku and Petit Martinique.
Yeah, that was the part I wanted. Overall, you're saying again, I want you to reiterate on your statement because I know it was taken out of context. A lot of people were, as you said, it was taken, it was misunderstood. I want you to clarify your position again, Tevin.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are saying I'm discriminating against the folks on the mainland. A lot of people are saying I don't, things of that sort. I don't know what I'm talking about. We are all one. Why should Karaku? Why shouldn't people come to Karaku and all of that? Some people are, all of these, what people are saying. The fact is, my concern, and I think the majority of people in Karaku would agree with me, is the safety of our people on the island. And not just, yes, the safety of our people on the island, and to ensure that we remain COVID-free in Karaku and Petit Martinique. Taking into consideration our uniqueness with regards to our health care system and the way in which we have to get to Grenada if something happens to us. So that is the main thing. It's not that we're discriminating. I'm a Grenadian. My family some of my family live on the mainland, so it's not a case where I'm discriminating at all. But my priority is the safety of my people, the people of Carriacou and Petit Martin, the people of my constituency, and they and we have a legitimate concern, and we are concerned about our safety.
All right.
So we have to do what we need to do to ensure that we remain COVID-19 free and that we are safe.
Thank you so much, Tevin. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And we appreciate you coming on the program.
Should I just answer Mr. Alexander? Just one before you go. Mr. Alexander is saying, Tevin, was it your voice on a radio program saying that Dr. Mitchell and others should not visit Carriacou because they're going to spread the virus? Yes. I think that whether you are the Prime Minister or COVID-19 team, as long as there are active virus cases on mainland, that no one should come to Carriacou and Petit Martinique if there is no need to come on the island. What Dr. George Mitchell and others came to Carriacou to do could have simply been done over a Zoom chat meeting, a telephone call, or what have you. It wasn't a need to come to Carriacou. And we need to try to limit the amount of people that are coming to Carriacou. So I stand by that statement. I am happy with what the COVID team is doing. I'm happy with what Dr. George Mitchell and others are doing. But I was even disappointed that the MP had to go down to Grenada, risking her life. I'm concerned about the MP risking her life to go to Grenada to attend Parliament. So we need to really restrict the movement of people, because you don't know in the process of going to Grenada, interacting with people, and then coming back to Carriacou, what can happen. Likewise, Dr. George Mitchell and others are interacting with people on a day-to-day basis in Grenada, and then come to Carriacou to just say hello, hi, and have a meeting with people, some people here and there. That could have simply been done over a Zoom meeting. So I agree I support Dr. George Mitchell and the others for the work that they are doing, but I disagree with the fact that they had to come to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. It could have been done over live, Mr. Alexander.
Okay.
There's no, Brother John Crow, there's no helicopter service in Carriacou. I hope that one day, that when I become MP and I've started the process, that the business community, not only in Carriacou, but Grenada, and maybe the Grenadines can come together to provide that service, whereby it can be used for many, many, many things, whether it's in a combination of business, healthcare, and other things.
All right, Tevin. That's the time that we have here. But thanks, Tevin. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for chatting with us, and we appreciate you. Hopefully, we could come back again, and we love having you on board here. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate you. Yeah, guys. So that was Mr. Tevin Andrews clarifying some of the things that was said. That was we posted it last week, and there was a major debate, big debate on this topic. Guys, I want to know what you guys think. If you still want to call, I still open the lines for another 5 minutes to get your views on it. The number that you could still call is this right here. And don't be a chat room bajan. All right. I like when people call and they're just as passionate in the chat room as they are on the phone lines or on video. Or they come and talk. Come and talk now. All right? Come and talk. Come and chat. Come and chat. Guys, here's what I think, right? Here's what I think. That in opening up any economy, there have to be some strict regulations that have to be put in place. It can't be business as normal. This cannot be business as normal or business as usual. We can't go back to the regular thing. And I don't ever think that life would return back to normal. I was saying, even me, standing in a group the other day, and there was about 12 individuals that came and was talking around me, and I felt so freaking scared. I felt like, I felt phobic. I had a phobia of people now. That's what I've developed a phobia. We got a caller. Caller, you live?
Yes, Junior. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I just want to say that please, can you extend the invitation to other persons in the political arena to come on the program? We want to hear them. I look at the comments, some people bashing and whatever it is, and some people trying to be negative again.
Right.
But let's not run away from the facts. The facts will remain the facts. we as a people need to learn to sit down and listen carefully without engaging our head into things that we're not supposed to be engaging it in. Tevin spoke very well. I saw a level of maturity in how he spoke, and he took a stand, and I must applaud him on that.
Mhm.
Very well. This afternoon, the program was very, very interested. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep COVID out. We have a fight to fight together. It's not a one-man fighting. It's everybody's thing. Let's
Yeah.
get it done together.
Everybody had to work together, and we see that everybody fighting. I wish everybody could collaborate in all day fighting and fight COVID-19. Let's focus on fight
From the
COVID-19.
Ministry of Social Development, what is the Minister of Social Development doing in her corner or neck of the woods? We want to know what the Ministry of Works is doing, and everybody. We want to, if we could hear from everybody, and then from key community persons and business persons in Grenada,
Yeah.
what they're doing to help prevent the spread. Because remember, social distancing will not go away today. It will not go away 6 months from now or a year from now. This is the new thing that we have to get accustomed to, and we have to learn to practice it and practice it very effectively. Sanitizing is important.
Yeah.
So, people are to be held accountable, and that's what COVID have brought us.
Yeah.
We must remain cognizant that we have a fight to fight, and we must fight it effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caller, you said it right.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank
And
you.
let me tell you, caller, we have and we are sending out invitation to everybody. This is not a political platform. Last week we had the Minister of Tourism. She was on the program.
Yeah.
The week before that, we had the Minister of Education. So this is not a political forum. This is not
I
NDC,
know.
NMP. So we're bringing everybody on. We're looking to have the Minister of Culture and any member. We're looking to have the leader of the NDC come on. I want everybody
Yes.
to come in here and bring their ideas. No one have a monopoly on ideas. Bring the ideas. Let's talk. Let's conversate and let's go forward.
And
Strong.
they bring a level of hope when they speak sensibly. We don't want people who are going to dodge the questions, and people who are going to speak sensibly and honestly and clearly to the people of Grenada. That would bring a level of confidence, and that would also help us or boost the opening that we want to open so quick by. That would help us to remain intact with everything else.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. Yes.
Thank you.
They are
Thank
the
you.
leaders.
Yeah.
We listen to them, and no, they listen to us. It's not about them making decisions. We want to hear from them once they have plans. If
Yeah.
you didn't come to us and consult with us, we want to hear what are you doing on the administrative level
Yeah.
to help keep
Yeah.
us together.
That's right. That's right,
Yes.
caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Brooklyn. This is John. Listen,
Uh-huh.
I'm begging a moment to deviate a slight bit from. I have a lady who needs some help. And
Okay.
I'm begging for a moment if I could beg the help on the program.
Sure. We could. Janko, we
but-
could designate a whole segment for her. If you want to give it more, of a push.
I could raise the flag now, and then we could come back and do that later on.
Okay.
But the flag it's a mother with it's a mother who has two blind daughters.
Uh-huh.
One is 20 and the other one is 16. And a 13-year-old son. And they right now are living in really dilapidated condition.
Where in Grenada?
I'm asking anybody
In Grenada?
In Grenada.
Well,
Yes.
well, you know, Janko, we have been doing the care packages, right?
No,
And
this is bigger than care package.
this is bigger than care package. Well, definitely, we're gonna push it out there. We're gonna push it out there, Janko. Let's talk after the program, and we'll see what we could do on our end to get the word out there.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
718-701-5720. 718-701-5720. I'm gonna take one more call.
You gotta be strong in this time, son.
I'm taking one more call. 718-701-5720. 718-701-5720 is my number. Call me up. And I'm going to leave at the end, right? I'm going to leave at the end with a brand new song that was released by Scholar today. Today it's called Frontline. I'm going to play it for you guys. It's a very nice song. It's a song, actually, I think there was about 6 artists on that particular song. Very powerful. Dedicated to the frontline workers. I'll play it in a short while. Again, if you want to call, guys, 718-701-5720, 718-701-5720. You see, that's the type of thing that we do here, right? Helping people. And we're gonna I'll talk to John Crow after the program. I'll get the information and I'll share it with you guys. And you know how Ride Along, you know we do it here, right? Wherever it is that we could help, we always put ourselves in a position to help. All right?
Everything has to happen. Everything has to happen. I'm a go-getter.
All right, so let me play back that song for you guys, right? This is a song by Scholar, and it's a medley, I think. I'll pull it straight from my WhatsApp. You guys seen all my WhatsApp information right here. I'll play it back. This is a song. It's called Frontline. Take a look.
Nurses and midwives in Grenada and throughout the four corners of the earth. This one is for you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Before the dawn of the morning, before the cock lay throat and it start to grow, a uniform shining, her bag is packed, ready or not, it's time to go. The story of the nurse and the midwife, a tale of forgotten sacrifice. So much dedication on display. Humanity smiles and sends her on her way.
Another day carrying the nation on Shiba. No permanent work, just a contract. The salary low and a soup down. Zero hope of getting a pension. Another day walking like a magician. Many of our colleagues back up and run.
Working conditions far from adequate, yet she fights and she gives it faith on the front line.
Can't afford to make even one mistake on the front line. While the nation's asleep, she's fast awake on the front line.
Whether normal times, whether pandemic, sing war,
sing war, sing war.
For the nurses and midwives,
fighting hard to save we lives.
And
the pillars of the health system, there is never a road that they wouldn't walk. Compassionate, caring, serving humanity right around the clock.
With little concern for the welfare, always on the ball, forever care. Whatsoever will it make of the nurses and midwives always standing for.
With little resources to work with, making blood from stone is a habit. Motor patients to every nurse, a ratio that's stressful and adverse. Although they face real criticism, an accusation that they had long, they never recalibrate. Without the aid, they don't hesitate on the front line. With COVID-19 high on the plate,
on the front line. Healing the sick and preventing death on the front line.
Any investment in them is well worth it. Thank you for your service.
We salute the nurses. We salute the midwives. Oh yeah, yeah.
If a nation is healthy, a nation is healthy,
then that nation is wealthy.
That nation is wealthy.
Although we beat and make noise and go on.
To salute the nurses in black, they deserve much more than that on the front line.
Let us invest dollars and cents today
on the front line,
so they will never feel to run away
on the front line.
nation to stay. Sing more, let's invest in them. Any investment, it will be money well spent. Anyway,